Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone's doing okay. For those of you that are new to my channel, I'm a 6-foot tall woman and I live in Manhattan. Lately I've been making YouTube videos about what it's like being a 6-foot tall woman that lives in Manhattan. It might not be the way you think it is. Everyone thinks that tall women are models and live a glamorous life, and that's not true. I would say only the top 1% of us get to be models. The rest of us kind of work a 9-to-5 and live a regular life. You know, if you don't live in a modeling world, you don't have access to the amenities that models have access to. Even though everybody thinks we do, we don't, because we don't live in the world that they live in. We live in the regular world. And when you are tall and you look like a model or an athlete, or when you don't look like a model or an athlete and you're tall and you live in the regular world, you often encounter people that have this anger and resentment towards you as if you did something to them when you have done nothing to them. So I want to tell a story about something that happened to me yesterday, and this is an example of some of the aggression that tall women deal with. So yesterday, I live in Upper Manhattan. To get to work every day, I take the train downtown. I work at the World Trade Center. So I'm heading to work. This was yesterday morning. This girl and this guy couple get on the subway. So I'm already on the train. I'm holding on to the pole. This girl and this guy couple get on the train. They come and hang on to the same pole that I was hanging on to. Initially, there was no issues, you know, whatever. And then, so the guy, just to give you a visual, the guy looked to be maybe about 6'3", looked to be mixed with black and white. He was kind of chubby. I would say he was literally like a 3 or 4 out of 10. The girl looked to be about maybe average height, like 5'4". She was chubby too, same thing, maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10. Nothing wrong with pairing up with your looks match. Nothing wrong with that. That's the way it should be. So initially I was just hanging on to the pole, playing on my phone. They were chit-chatting or whatever, giggling. And then at one point, she randomly looks at me and then looks at him and then whispers something in his ear. And then he looks at me with this angry look on his face, and then looks at her, and then looks at me with this angry look on his face, and then looks at her, and then they start whispering again. So that happens he kept looking at me with this angry look on his face as if I did something to upset her. And that happens all the time. That happens all the time. Anytime there's a couple, and I feel like it happens more often when the couple is a shorter woman and a taller guy. Anytime there's a couple, usually whether it's a boyfriend or girlfriend couple, or it's just two people that are friends, or even when it's a gay couple, anytime there is a couple of people walking past me or standing near me, the short one always looks at me and then turns to the tall one and whispers something to them. And then the tall one immediately starts glaring at me with this angry look on their face as if I did something to upset them, or staring at me like they want to fight me. And this happens literally all the time. Like the guy on the subway yesterday, he looked at her, then looked at me, and kept looking back and forth at us as if I did something to upset her when I did nothing to her. For some reason, the fact that I'm just quietly standing there minding my business, that doesn't seem to matter. And I did my best to just ignore them. I didn't look directly at them at any point in time. I just proceeded to stare at my phone. And, I just proceeded to stare at my phone, but I could still see them watching me. And I just tried my best to ignore them. And that happens all the time. I think I mentioned in another YouTube video that the only time that shorter people, shorter men and women, always pick fights with tall women. They always pick fights with us, purely out of jealousy. They always pick fights with us, and they get other people to pick fights with us. Sometimes it's people that I know personally. Sometimes it's people that I don't know. But they always start stuff with us, and then they get other people to have a problem with us. And sometimes they will make the other people think that we were intimidating them or bullying them or picking on them. And they fall. And the thing is that when they try to make other people think that we were picking on them, the other people, they fall for it right away. Because when you're tall, people instinctively see you as threatening or privileged, and you're always outnumbered. So if you have a problem with one person, it quickly escalates into an entire mob. And this is why That happens to me all the time though. It's usually the shortest person in the group makes a comment to me about to the other group or to like the taller person that they're with. And the next thing I know, they'll like look at me and start laughing, or the taller person will look at me like will just be staring at me like they want to fight me. And this happens all the time. This is exactly why I am prejudiced against people with Napoleon complex. They go out of their way to try to hurt women my height when we never did anything to them. I am prejudiced against people with Napoleon complex. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. If I could push a button and make men and women with Napoleon complex disappear off the planet, I would push that button in a heartbeat. Because I don't mean short people in general. I mean specifically people with Napoleon complex. If I could erase them off the planet, I would do it in a heartbeat. And my quality of life would, my life would be just way more beautiful if they were not in the picture. If they weren't in the picture, my life would be so much more beautiful than it is. So that's not the first time that that's happened. That's happened multiple times. And you know what? It's all jealousy. Like when people bother tall women, they are flat out jealous. And I mentioned in other videos, I've had people attack me and then admit that they always wanted to be tall, but they were like vicious and cruel to me. And I have no sympathy for people with Napoleon complex. I don't feel sorry for you. I have no sympathy for you. You know, you stare at tall people, wishing that your mother picked somebody tall, wishing that you're staring at those long legs and that long, slender physique that you didn't get. I have no sympathy for people that with Napoleon complex. I don't feel sorry for them. The same people that like to pick fights with women my height when we're literally minding our business, those are the exact same people that compare themselves to models and athletes. They conclude that they come up short and they end up crying themselves to sleep. I have no sympathy for you. Anyways, leave me your thoughts in the comment section. More videos coming soon. Bye.